well, it's 11 seconds into the speech, and I'm already not sure how to continue, because there are a lot of names that we at Mason use to describe people like me, the 33 people who started school in August 2009 and are just graduating today. The school's official title for us is Evening Division, but that's really inaccurate. It suggests that there's a division, and that we go to something of a different school than the other students. But in fact, the 33 have walked among you. We've been editors on journals, we've competed as members of oral advocacy groups, we've served on student organizations, and we've been writing fellows. Really, one of the strengths of our school, from my perspective, is that there's really no real division between us and them. So I'm sorry, admissions office, but the name Evening Division simply won't do at all. So I'm left with that nagging question: what should we call me? A popular name for us is the neutral and more inclusive evening student. But that doesn't feel right either once you think about it. The evening is a time for relaxing with family and friends, maybe When I tell someone, hey, have a good evening, I generally don't mean, hey, have fun rushing right from work to school and sitting through a few hours of lecture about some obscure area of the law. And then after that, staying up late, reading even more. You know, you can keep your eyes open. Have a good evening. I don't think so. Don't even get me started on part-time student. When I hear the term part-time, I think of 30% time, maybe 40%, but some reasonable fraction of the full-time option. It didn't take us long to realize, though, that in the first semester, the so-called full-time students had 5 classes, and we only had to handle 4. So, 80%. Now, I'll grant you, 80% is part of 100%, but I think the 33 and I would contend that the term part-time simply can't apply to our undertaking. There's one name, though, that might work. At the beginning of school, all of the first-year students were split into sections, and the 33 were placed into Section Z. I like this name. Z, it's distinctive, it's powerful, and it's timely, because it makes us think of zombies, which is appropriate, because zombies are creatures that come back, and what are they after? Brains. I can feel the deans warming up the gong on that one. I doubt it would fly with the distinguished alumni, so into the trash bin it goes. You know, I don't hear the term returning student used much, but it seems like it might be closer to what I'm looking for. After all, the 33 completed undergraduate degrees, got some graduate degrees, and started jobs, all before deciding, you know what would be great? More school. So we returned. The fact that we left and came back, though, means that at least to some degree, we were wrong about what we were going to do with our lives. For example, it's a little known fact that this represents my 3rd attempt to obtain a doctoral degree. This is true. When I was younger, I was good at biology and chemistry, very competitive and driven, so of course I should be a surgeon, and that's as far as I planned. When I got to the medical school interviews, I realized I wasn't the sort of person who would enjoy being a physician, and considering all of the training and fellowships, I realized that I would be starting my life at the completely unthinkable age of 37. So, instead I worked as a technician at a pharmaceutical company, you know, just till I could figure things out. Because one thing I did know was that I did not want to get a PhD. Well, there must have been something in the water at the pharmaceutical company, which will remain anonymous, because I defied all logic when I entered a biology PhD program. Well, after spending 4 years in the lab, I again did the math, and realized that by the time I graduated, completed a couple of postdoctoral fellowships, I would be starting a career that I was already kind of tired of at the rather disturbing age of 37. A dear friend of mine said, hey, why don't you work at the patent office? You know, just until you figure things out. So I did. It wasn't long before my patent office coworkers started saying, you should go to law school. No, I said, I don't want to do that. Law school would ruin my life. Well, here I am. Speaking at a law school commencement, having completed my training at the youthful and completely reasonable age of 37. That the started school in August 2009, which I might point out was last decade. Well, it's a tall order, I'll tell you, to have one name for this incredibly diverse group. During the last 4 years, we've kept ourselves busy, maintaining friendships and family ties, getting married, buying houses, having babies. 5 babies were born to 3 amazing women in our class since we started school, and all of this while keeping our day jobs. The members of the 33 have served in all 3 branches of the federal government and worked in both private practice and public interest firms, and one of us even built a successful startup company. To give you an idea of just how diverse a group we're talking about, 2 of the 33 are moving to Georgia after graduation, and people, it is not even the same Georgia. What name could we possibly assign to these people who have committed themselves to a course of action that most of you would say qualifies us to be just plain committed? Well, really, you can call us the evening division or evening students, part-time students, Section Z, or returning students. But today, the one thing we all insist on is that at long last, you call us done.